So a BYU professor shreds the Family Proclamation in front of a student on video. This episode is brought to you by Scripture Notes. Scripture Notes is the program that I use for all of my research, for all of my daily scripture study. It's the best tool available anywhere. Go to scripturenotes.com. That's scripturenotes.com. Here we go. All right, so BYU professor, mathematics professor David Cardin, I'm putting his name out there because it is everywhere already. This thing's going to blow up. Had a reaction to the election, the presidential election, and he went and posted something on his door for students, for faculty, for all to see, and this is what he posted on the door. I'll go ahead and read this for you. It says, if you supported Donald Trump in the recent election, then this scripture is for you. Right? First of all, what are you doing as a BYU professor posting something post-election to people who voted against the person that you wanted? This is just it's unintelligent. This is not a smart thing to do, right? And then he quotes Mosiah 29:26-27. I'm going to read these two scriptures. Okay, and he is conflating these scriptures with those who chose Donald Trump. Right, here it is. Now, it is not uncommon that the voice of the people desireth anything contrary to that which is right. Talking about democracy. But it is common for the lesser part of the people to desire that which is not right. Therefore, this shall ye observe and make it your law, to do your business by the voice of the people. Okay, it's a principle that's being put out there. And if the time comes that the voice of the people doth choose iniquity, then is the time that the judgments of God will come upon you. Yea, then is the time he will visit you with great destruction, even as he has hitherto visited this land. Okay, so you know what? If he's got this opinion, I don't care. That's up to him. Whatever, right? I don't care that he votes for Kamala Harris. I don't care if he votes for Jill Stein, of the Green Party. I don't care. Do what you want. But to go out publicly in a university and put this out there where faculty and students, etc., are going to see this it's not a very smart thing to do. And then to bring scripture into it what are your students going to think when they see this? They come in there. And what if they are those that did vote for Trump? What are they going to think? Are they going to be able to say anything? Or are they going to be comfortable around you? Right? He finishes off by saying the following: by almost all objective standards, Donald Trump is an evil man. Now that you've made your choice, you should expect this prophecy to be fulfilled. Okay. All right. Again, fine. Whatever. If these are his personal opinions, I have whatever. I don't care. But to post them publicly is not, I'm guessing this is against BYU policy. It's got to be somewhere. To say it is one thing. To go out and post this on your door, that seems to me like it should be contrary. Of course, you can see many of the halls at BYU, especially in the social sciences department, with pride flags and trans statements and a number of different things going through the social sciences. I've done something on that previously in an episode. Now, then a student, by the way, this gets picked up by libs of TikTok and goes out on TikTok. It goes out on, I'm going to show a picture of him here because this comes up and is shown on this as well. But it gets picked up on TikTok. It gets picked up on X. It goes out on Facebook, right? It's going out everywhere on social media, and there are hundreds of thousands, perhaps by now, million plus or millions of views of people that have seen this. And a good portion of those people are going to be Latter-day Saints. So then a student, apparently, it looks like it's a student, decided to confront the professor in his office, at his office. And he goes up there, say what you want about this. I think it's actually a positive. He goes out there and he places the Family Proclamation up on the professor's door. Professor's not really happy about that. And this is what he does.
Evil is Kamala much better, sir? She wants to kill babies.
No, she doesn't want to kill babies.
She's pro-abortion.
Well,
and again, I don't care about the vote. The vote has nothing to do with this.
Here,
Did you just tear the Family Proclamation?
In front of you, I'm tearing this
Sir.
Because I think...
Okay, before I finish with this, you need to understand something here again. Obviously, he's very brazen about this, his feelings. Maybe he's overwhelmed with emotion because his candidate didn't win. He probably is very, how shall we say this, doesn't really like President-elect Donald Trump, but he knows he's on camera. He knows that his face, a picture of his face and of his statement previously has been seen by hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people already. And now a student confronts him with a camera, and he is brazenly going to take the Family Proclamation and rip it up on video. What does this tell you? Decide for yourself what that means. But again, not real smart, but perhaps he just doesn't like it.
That's modern revelation. I have that all on video.
Well, great.
That's modern revelation, sir. From a prophet.
You're not a prophet.
I'm not a prophet, but Gordon B. Hinckley was a prophet, and this Quorum of the 12 were prophets. Were they not?
Why wouldn't you say something here?
You're a coward.
I'm a coward. You're the one that just tore.
Why wouldn't you say
sir?
yes?
You just came and put something on.
You're on video.
Without knocking first.
Well, I hope you have a nice day.
See ya.
Okay. So anyway, I look, I wish this was a one-off, right? You know from my channel that this is not a one-off. I think that there are a lot of things that have been cleaned up. I think that Shane Reese is the right guy. I think Justin Collins, his right-hand man, is the right guy. I think they've done a number of things. I think that Elder Clark has done a number of good things. I think that they are, but regardless of what gets done in those areas, you need to know that when you send your kid to BYU, that doesn't mean everything is hunky-dory. Right? I know many, many people that have kids that have been radicalized at BYU because of professors that are anti-Family Proclamation, that are pro-LGBTQ. And when I say that, I don't mean pro the individuals. I mean the movement. I mean, they're very, very supportive of the Pride movement. They're pro-critical theory. In essence, many of them are Marxists. And that's not like it's everywhere. It's not everywhere. All right, BYU is a great, amazing place, but that's the issue. If you send your kid to a state school somewhere more locally or outside of Utah, right? If I'm here in Arizona, if I send my kids to ASU, you don't have the worry about a conflation of the gospel and authoritative figures like professors starting to tell you that, hey, you ought to start thinking differently. Let me deprogram what you have learned from your parents over the last 18 years. Because that's what those individuals do. They feel that that is their calling. And for the most part, you go to all of the other professors, they're great, they're amazing, right? They have strong testimonies. They help the students have great spiritual experiences and solidify their testimonies. But there are several bad apples, and your students and you should know that. I'm a huge fan of BYU, not just the sports teams. I love their mission. I don't know exactly how they're going to get all of this done because of the infiltration of the religion of academia into their halls. And I don't know that it's even the best thing to go out and say, well, let's go get this guy fired. Let's have all these people fired. It's a systemic issue. Right? It's the environment that they are in. It's the people that they hire. Where are they bringing them from? What indoctrination have they already had? How did they learn getting their PhD? What was the framework? What was the worldview that was brought to them? I do have a positive episode shortly that I will be bringing in to BYU because I want to show that there's a lot of positive there also. A lot of positive there. But you've got to have your eyes wide open. We do not live in a world anymore where these things are not finding their way into every corner and nook and crevice, including in places like BYU. I do think that the student stood up and did something about this. I think it's the right thing. You know, there's a lot that is there. The squeaky wheel sometimes is what gets the attention. And those on the hard left that have the loudest voices, they have always had the loudest voices, have been very effective, even in places like BYU. I'd say especially in places like BYU, in shutting people up, in casting stones by using ad hominem attacks on white supremacy, critical race theory, misogyny, all of the intersectional stones that are tossed at others. But this student came in and stood up and did something about it, put up a family proclamation on the professor's door. I think that's a great thing. It's truth. Now, I don't think there's an issue in, again, the vote. I don't care if this person voted for Kamala. Who cares? Go vote your conscience. That is democracy. And we need to all support that. That's not the issue. The issue is what he posted on his door and then the ripping up of the family proclamation. And I do think it's important that we stand for something. Remember Gordon B. Hinckley's book, right? Standing for something. By the way, this is the subtitle of the book, 10 Neglected Virtues That Will Heal Our Hearts and Homes, right? When you stand for something, that will help bring healing. When you are not anchored to virtues and truths, then you fall into things like depression and anxiety, and chaos starts to enter in. You need to stand for something. President Hinckley, of course, is the prophet at the time that the Family Proclamation was written. The Family Proclamation stands for something, which we should all do. Thanks for listening.